It's shout-out time once again on the Ohio State Football Report. Congratulations to Brother Anthony, who actually led the way for the most comments the last time we did this challenge. He is the first person to actually beat Timon the Buckeye so far. Well done, Brother Anthony. 69 comments, too. So I think nice is an easy thing to spam, but whoever comments the most on today's show, you will get the next shout-out. Let's go to the offensive line, and not always sexy, but I think very noteworthy development here from Ryan Day. He revealed that Austin Siereveld, gotta make sure I don't mix up those pronunciations, has been getting work at left tackle for Ohio State, which is extremely significant. Now, leading into this, Ryan Day, meeting with reporters at Ohio State Fall Camp, was specifically asked about how Siereveld was faring at right tackle, how he was doing overall, where he was situated at on that front. Here's exactly what Ryan Day said. When you look at his size compared to the guys we've had in the past, he has plenty of size. Look at his athleticism. He's athletic enough, and his strength is that way. I've gone through it with strength coach McMurray and O-line coach Tyler Bowman to see. Does he have enough length? Does he have enough size to play the position? The answer is yes, and he was very comfortable there in the spring. So we're seeing some things out of him this offseason in terms of leadership, just taking on a great voice in that room. He was an Iron Buckeye. So all of these things are leading us to believe that he could be our left tackle moving forward. Now, shout out to the Ohio State media that was present. They did some active listening, which my wife was always appreciative of as well. They're like, you said left tackle. Did you mean right? Like giving you the option, like, hey, like, did you misspeak on that front? Well, Ryan Day said no. He's getting work at left right now. Now, primary position, secondary positions, these things are all in play, but we believe that he can do that. He can play left tackle for us. We certainly know he can play guard. Ethan, Philip Daniels, the guys are all playing more. Those guys are rolling and getting a lot of reps. You guys saw in the first 3 days, we've been getting a ton of reps. Now we're on field going ones, twos, quarterbacks, and threes. So kind of like with the QBs, we'll let this thing play out and see where we're at. But I will say that Austin's shown that he can do it, that he can play tackle. So now we have this development that, hey, Austin Siereveld is a possibility as the left tackle starter for the Ohio State Buckeyes. That certainly seems extremely significant as far as I'm concerned. So, pinned comment on today's show is this. Is Austin Siereveld getting work at left tackle actually a good thing? Or is it something that you don't like at all? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Is Austin Siereveld getting work at left tackle a good thing or not? We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if that ad, comes here on YouTube, not a big deal. Take advantage of it. Y for yes, N for no. Here's my take. I think that this could end up working out just fine. And Austin Siereveld, been a lot of consistent positive buzz on him. Maybe Buckeyes feel like he's their best option left tackle. If so, you probably want to plug him in there on the left side. I think overall this is a red flag for the offensive line, though. I'm like, hey, don't know if I love that one. He was fine last year. I think this is definitely someone that, the expectation has been step forward is coming pretty clearly on that front. But the plan going into the fall was this offensive line. Montgomery, Hinsman, Tegra, all in there on the interior of the offensive line. Oninwa at left tackle, Siereveld at right tackle. We'd mentioned, hey, maybe Philip Daniels ends up emerging and, Siereveld kicks inside to guard. He's clearly going to start somewhere for Ohio State. The exact spot was uncertain. The Buckeyes went through the spring with Oninwa in there as the left tackle, and now maybe not. I would, and we'll go more in depth on this, I will publicly wonder, is that a bad sign for Oninwa? Is this an indication of, hey, we're not as confident as maybe we have let on and leaked, etc., about the offensive line, and maybe we think Oninwa isn't really a great option at left tackle, and we're going to ride with Siereveld over on the left side because that's our best piece. All those are I think kind of valid concerns. So predictions, then we'll go more in depth here on Oninwa. What position will Austin Siereveld, week 1, snap 1, end up lining up at against Texas? So, LT for left tackle is fine, RT for right tackle, etc. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. What position do you think Siereveld ends up lining up at in week 1? So let's move then to Oninwa and more updates on this front. So with Siereveld, working on the left side, Ryan Day says Oninwa is working at both right tackle and a little bit of guard. They kind of followed up like, hey, is he working at right tackle? And Day said, yeah, he's also got a little work at guard too. As we know, it's a long year. We have to be able to do that. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we certainly learned a lot coming off of last year. We will continue to cross-train, but as it goes on, it's more like 80-20 than more like 60-40, maybe somewhere in that ballpark, in the spring. So there's always going to be cross-training. I think that is important for Ohio State. Like, Day's right. Like, they made it work last year with all that chaos. It does sound like, as we sit here in early August, offensive line is still a little unsettled. And maybe they are going to make that flip from Oninwa, who I think go into depth here in a minute, does work pretty well at right tackle, but I don't think this is set in stone yet. Now, this Ohio State polo is on sale with our friends over at Fanatics. It was $40. Now it's just $24. Bunch of sizes available for you guys as well. Link is in the comment section and the description of today's show. It'll take you right to it. It's chatsports.com/OSU polo. I do think Oninwa overall would fit pretty well at right tackle. I think his overall play style, some of the strengths and weaknesses, for the way most teams, college, NFL especially, view right tackles, I think he does fit in pretty decently on that side of the ball. He's played some mostly left at Rice, but again, I think you could Rice left tackle, OSU right tackle wouldn't be crazy. 9 games last year. We can go back and watch some of our videos, and I know producer really hadn't always agreed with me. Maybe he's coming around a little bit on that front. I had some underlying red flags. I'm like, look, you lost plenty of talent on the offensive line. I don't love shuffling. I don't love consistently moving around the offensive lineman. I say that acknowledging the Buckeyes made it work last year. I think that's why you're seeing some backup reserve shuffling of who plays where and cross-training. Cross-training is important, but there does come a certain point in the season where I just want to play the same 5 guys for as many snaps in the same spots as possible. I like stability. I like consistency. I like chemistry. I think those things lead to better play on the offensive line. Now, as it specifically relates here, Ethan Oninwa, there's been some, inconsistent updates from some of the insiders on the message boards and whatnot. It was, hey, he had a good spring. He was reported up to 370 pounds, which is way too big, and Ryan Day acknowledged that publicly. Down to 335, much more manageable. But the buzz went from he shed the black stripe, he looks good, he's going to be the starter, to, a couple days ago was, he got off to a slow start, now he looks good, to now, well, maybe he's not even their left tackle. Coaches are a paranoid bunch. Sometimes the info that gets leaked out isn't always accurate, or there's just some, hopium, whatever. The left tackle spot now seems like a battle in the way that, maybe it wasn't at least perceived that way previously. So who do you think ends up starting day one at left tackle? It feels like these are the only options. Who knows? It's the fall camp. We don't always get great info the same way we do for NFL teams. AS for Austin, EO for Ethan. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Go to some good news here. Ryan Day, a very positive update on the Eddrick Houston front. Seems like no major injury for Houston, which is, a bullet dodged on that front. Here's what Ryan Day said. This was on Tuesday, by the way, so kind of adjust the timeline there. We think he's going to be involved with team drills here within the next 48 hours. If not tomorrow, then the day after. But had another good day today, so yeah, it's good to see him moving around. He was limited today. I think he'll be ready to get in these team drills pretty soon. In the end, that's a pretty darn big win. That is a pretty big win for Ohio State, that Houston's injury doesn't appear to even really be an issue, as we get into mid-August. Not even is he healthy for week 1? We'll see, but he's good to go. Again, coming out of the spring with the additions made along the defensive line in total, I do feel a little bit better about the front 4. DT is maybe still my biggest concern. I am super excited about Houston. Caden McDonald, we'll see. Tyler Malone, Will Smith, Carter, I'm really intrigued by more. I think there's potential and talent, but it is potential and upside and not provenness that you still kind of need to see the Buckeyes get to in the near future. And we have hit the 11,000 subscriber mark. Thank you all so much for helping us get there. We are now getting closer to 12,000 subscribers. Help us out. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/GoBucks. Link will be in the comment section. Just subscribe. Hit that big red button for me right now. Update now from Ryan Day on Julian Sayin. I will say he was specifically asked about Julian Sayin, which I always want to acknowledge because, sometimes I see stuff like, wow, Ryan Day praising Julian Sayin. Well, if you're asked about a player, you're going to praise them. So I do want to give that context here. But he still said it, and this is what he said. There's a lot to like, Ryan Day said on Sayin. Smart, makes quick decisions, ball comes out of his hand. He's accurate. I think he's got good movement. He's got twitch in the lower half. He's got good quickness. But he's got twitch in his upper half as well. Ryan Day also, remember how quick the ball used to come out of Dwayne Haskins' hands? It's similar with Julian. I think he's building more and more of a command of the field, and there are all reasons to like him. He's improved. He wants to be good. He knows what it takes. Now, Julian Sayin listed, by the way, at 6'1", 203. A reported updated weights, and we'll eventually update those as, the websites update them too, 210. So he has added a little bit of bulk on that front, which is a promising sign. We'll see who wins the job, but deep down, I think Ryan Day and the Buckeyes want it to be Julian Sayin.